Thank you. All right. So how to become a vendor for Bernalillo County. I want you to please, once you receive this presentation, go and click on that hyperlink. All the letters in blue are hyperlinks, and they all will take you to the websites in which I got the screenshots there. When you become a registered vendor, there's no strings attached. You are not committing to anything, but you become part of their network. So now they're going to start sending you emails. They're going to start sending you information. You're going to start becoming familiar with the process, what is going on in this community. Okay, so become a vendor. Local determination, when there are larger contracts, there is something called local determination, and that's why I say go to your local municipality, because you, by being local, have a competitive advantage over somebody who is like in Idaho, right? That may be a bigger company that may have more staff, but you know the community, you know the people, you know the advantages and disadvantages of a project. So utilize that as part of your competitive advantage. So this is another opportunity for you to become knowledgeable of what's going on. These links are for Albuquerque. Vendor services to help you do business with the city. The cities need you because they need that bridge to help them accomplish their goals, right? So they want you to be successful. And so how can you leverage upon those resources that they offer to help you be successful? Nandi, you have a question or comment? No. Okay. Then for the city of Albuquerque, you can actually register to get emails of all the solicitations that they are issuing. And so even if you're not ready, please do this so you can start becoming familiar with the local government that you want to serve. Okay. One of the biggest, and this is going to be so basic, one of the biggest reasons why packages with proposals are not competitive. Anybody guess? Wants to guess? Because they don't answer the questions that they require. Oh, I stopped sharing the screen. I'm sorry. Let me see. Let me see. Thank you for letting me know. I don't know what time that happened. All right. Okay, can you see my screen? Oh my God, thank you, Rebecca, because I was going through it. I don't know when to stop sharing. Okay, so just to make sure that you see the hyperlinks that I mentioned before. These are hyperlinks that if you click here, they'll take you to a website for you to take action, okay? The same thing here, the same thing here. So make sure that that you register, that you become connected, right? Okay, so the number one reason why a package or a proposal is not successful and it is an easy out is because businesses did not meet the requirements outlined in the request for proposal, in the request for quotes, in the request for information, okay? So please make sure that everything that is outlined in the request, you answered. And if you already answer it once, have somebody else review it and make sure that that is accurate, right? Because this is it sounds basic, but I'll give you a quick example. There was a time in which we were going for a 1-year contract for services at the airport of an engineering company. And there was this company, they had already established communication with us. We had already seen their quality of work. We wanted to work with them. Their proposal was excellent, except that they did not include a key document. It was disqualified. It didn't matter the quality of the services. It didn't matter the quota amount. They did not meet the requirements. Therefore, they were disqualified. They did not only lose that contract, but they lost the contract for 2 years because the other consultant became a preferred consultant, right? And so make sure that you cover all the pieces that are required. Okay, Often you are requested references. Please make sure that when you include a reference in your quote, in your proposal, that you let those references know to expect a call. It's like a job interview, right? If nobody knows that you're applying for a job interview and they're a referral, they may not be able to say something good about you. So this is a big issue, because as long as they don't have referrals and it's a requirement from the procurement process, they are holding on to making a final decision. So remember the April to August, October timeline? This is part of that process, okay? So if you help them be faster, there may be some pieces that they can go faster and is better for everybody. Budget cycles. I want to make this a highlight, because you need to become experts in how your client functions. And if you're looking for government to be your client, you need to become an expert on how they function. You need to know when their fiscal year starts and ends. And I'll tell you why. Imagine that you are a company that you are making a film right now. Okay, Visit Las Cruces, as we talked before. And this is below $5,000. It's $4,500. But today is the 20th, and I need to have this film done. Look, last day for agencies to approve purchase orders and change orders less than $5,000 for goods or services will be received June 30th. Me, as a department staff, I have 10 days to make this purchase order work. And guess what? Often, if I still have a budget in the department, if I don't spend the money in my budget, that money is going to go back to general funds. So often, the departments are really looking to deploy that funding before these deadlines. So if you are ready, let's say that City of Las Cruces needs this film, and they reach out to Lava and they say, can you do it? And Lava says yes. That is like, you are a savior, because one, you're giving them what they need on time. Two, you are allowing them to spend money that they don't have to spend next year and decrease their next year budget. And three, you became a vendor, and now you have an additional client in your portfolio. So these dates are super important, because a month before you can start calling, hey, do you have anything that you have to spend before the end of your fiscal year? And often they're going to tell you yes or no. Okay, Silvino, this may not be applicable to you because of the amounts, but maybe like smaller contracts that you may start working with, right? So these dates are super important. This is for the department, for New Mexico as a state, but you can find additional details here on this hyperlink, okay? How to find opportunities. I mentioned some of these through their website, through the published budgets, talking to key staff, either the program managers, the procurement departments, the designated buyers. If you establish a good relationship with these people, they will actually advocate for you, right? Put the good word for you. Watch public meetings. They may not be the most interesting ones, but they talk a lot about the future of this community and therefore the opportunities for you as a possible vendor. Go by and meet people. Go introduce yourself. This is my company. This is what I'm doing. If you know of somebody, can you let me know? It's always good to start establishing those relationships. The city of Albuquerque also has this, how the procurement process works, and they outline it. And what I gave you, it's like the general piece, but every municipality, every local government, every county, they have the specifics, because everybody has their own policy for procurement. So the little details may vary. And so I highly encourage you to start looking into how their procurement process works. And again, all of these are hyperlinks. All right. They also have something that they call commodity codes. And so they have, for instance, Bernalillo County has 7 pages of commodity codes in which you need to find yourself, because very likely is that you are going to know what commodity is your service or good to this governmental entity, right? Actually, I did find some of the instances that you provide. Let me see if I can find here. I thought I had found film. Concrete. Is the company for concrete in the house today? I don't think so. So color, well, no, wrong type of film here. Film developing and processing equipment, Lava. You see this? No, that's not you. Film photographic, that's you. Okay, so you would be commodity code 65567, and that's important because that's how they will classify the purchase for you. Okay. Another one. I mentioned this. Get registered as a vendor. Get all the notifications. You don't have to pay, but you start getting information, and then maybe one of these days you feel ready to submit that item. Okay, this is for Albuquerque. It's similar to what I mentioned, but specific through their procurement process. This is Albuquerque's approved budget of 2025. Why would that be important for me? So this is their new fiscal year starting. What would that be important for me?
Because it's contracts that are in there.
Exactly. These are contracts that are in there. Similar situation. This is the Albuquerque Public Schools final approved budget. Check it out. Other purchase services, supplies, property and equipment, professional services, $19 million. Okay, all of that is contract. All of that is one of you providing a service or a good, right? So this is super, super important. Repairs and maintenance, contractual services. This is Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority. So Weasley, this may be for you. There is a lot of money, right? And this is 10, this is in thousands, okay? So it's 12 million here, 14 million, 117 million. So this is a lot of money that you can tap into, okay? So that's why I'm saying you need to become an expert on, do they have money to even pay for what I have to offer, right? Is that in their priorities? These are people, actual people that you can pick up the phone, dial their phone number and say, hey, my name is Slava. I'm a filmmaker. I have my own company. Who would you recommend me talking about possibly serving the city of Albuquerque for these services? And I bet you that they would give you some lead into who you need to talk to establish that conversation, okay? So all of this is for you to actually take action. Okay, the break was already gone. Please register. This is City of Albuquerque. This is a process to become a registered vendor. I'm not gonna go through that, but it's pretty easy. Then you can actually select the areas that you are interested in getting the information, the newsletter, the solicitations once they are announcing it, okay? This is a procurement portal of active opportunities, okay? So this is where you find them. This is the link. You go there and then you will find this. One very interesting thing, and it may be because of the time of the year. Last year, I found many more active procurement opportunities than I did this year. So this may be something not so positive for us, but still, if they have $12 million and I get $150,000, that's a sweet deal for me as a small company, right? So even if the budgets are not as big, even if the solicitations are not as big, there's still opportunity for each one of us. This is actually a really interesting one because I thought of maybe some of you, like they have really interesting needs, the city, like graffiti paint and supplies. Who would have thought that a city needed graffiti paint and supplies, right? So just knowing what they need may represent an opportunity for us to be that answer. Once you go into the active opportunity, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click here, and all of these are requirements, right? So make sure that when you are putting together a proposal, you go back to this page and say, am I meeting this requirement? And then you can download the actual full request for proposals, okay? And then you can also access past opportunities. Why would it be important for you to know past opportunities? Anybody?
Could you state the question?
Yes, why would it be important for you all to know what past opportunities they have awarded as contracts?
Well, if they post the price and what they finished with, I could adjust my estimate accordingly.
It's still intelligence, right?
Yeah.
I can understand my competition. I can understand what was the terms of the payment tied to what Wesley talked about. I can understand if it was one entity versus a conglomerate of entities, etc. I can also understand, like the closed ones, why they didn't go through. What happened, right? Is that they did not find a qualified vendor? And if so, can I become the qualified vendor, right? So all of this is just a lot of information that you can leverage upon to craft your proposal, to understand, like, do you know why it didn't work out? Do you, like, the funds were not available, the timeline, the qualifications, whatever that may be. But this is all intelligence that you can turn to your benefit. Okay, so these have been awarded, and I'm gonna go into one so you can see what it looks like. And as you see, they're like different, they're very different types of awards, like lumber, 10 positions, retail concessions, home safety equipment, supplies for bathroom safety. I mean, it's very broad, okay? So this is one of the awarded pieces. And these are the commodities that they classified it with. And then, unfortunately, I was not able to actually find the contract, which I was able to find before. They just had a little verbiage in which they say it was awarded. But very interestingly enough, when an RFP is published, and you remember that I said that you can ask questions during a period of time? And you can ask any question? Remember? No? Okay. During the RFP process, there is a question that there is a period in which you can ask questions. And it can be any question, right? Any question is valid. Guess what they put here? Can you provide an estimated annual spend for this contract? And guess what? They did answer. The city estimates the annual spend on this contract is $100,000. So let's say Silvino is thinking of putting a proposal together for these services. And he's like, well, let me put the whistles and bells in this proposal, but it's $250. What if he sent that question and he received that answer back from the buyer? What is a strategy that Silvino can put in place if he still wants to go forward?
$99,500.
You adjust the scope of work, right? You adjust the scope of work and say, okay, I'm going to take this out. It's not going to be 250 because that will put me out of the range. I'm not going to be competitive. But what can I offer for $99,999? Okay. So, but what I'm saying is when I say establish contact, this is the type of information you can access if you leverage on those relationships and the opportunity to ask questions. This is all public information, okay? Another thing, the contract that I looked into, they actually gave the unit price, okay, of that paint that I mentioned. this is a unit price. So why would that be important? I know my competition. I know the price they've given me. Is the price higher or lower than what I have, that what I'm thinking of offering? If it's higher, can I adjust to lower? If not, then this is not my ideal client. If it's lower, can I become more competitive based on price and quality? So all of this is information that is super important for you all. This is additional information from the city of Albuquerque because you can actually look for past contracts. If you know a competitor and you know they had a contract with the city of Albuquerque, you can look at there. You can search through services, type of services. You can look in many different ways. And this is information applied for your good, its power, okay? So all of this is just intelligence that you can utilize for your own good. This is another example. Attachment A is the actual list of prices per unit, okay? Contracts of interest. This is actually a display of, if I click in one of these links on contract link, you actually get this, and it tells me how much money the contract was for, okay? Again, intelligence. This is all information for you. BidNet Direct is a way for you to access proposals or RFPs. And this is the one for the city of Las Cruces. Again, I did not see as many opportunities as I have seen in the past, but it may be just the time of the year where they're closing their year and then waiting to start new RFPs publications at the beginning of the year, okay? This is another one. One of you is a legal entity, so this was an example for them. Active procurements in the state of New Mexico. This is another hyperlink that I highly encourage you go and look and see what they got there. But this is a snapshot of what you will find. There is a different pieces such as bid. We talked about the bid. We talked about request for proposal. There is something called sole source, and I touched briefly before. If you are an expert and you have institutional knowledge about a project that nobody else has, you can become a sole source. That means it doesn't matter the price you have. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go through an RFP process, but you have to justify why you are uniquely qualified. And usually this is an effort between the end user department and the vendor, okay? Then there is something called contract services agreement.